So hello friends, today we will study Michel Foucault, a very important figure from 20th century. He's being read by students from different disciplines. Really very important figure. So today I'm going to take up his idea of panopticism, what he means by panopticism. This was something he discussed in his work Discipline and Punish, Birth of a Prison in the year 1975. So what he means when he through his work of panopticism. Now panopticism is he has picked up this concept. He's using this as a metaphor to show that how in the modern society, in the modern world, we are all living under a surveillance state. Surveillance, that is, someone is continuously watching our actions, what we are doing, where we are going, whom we are meeting, what we think, and what we believe in, all these things. So we are put under a surveillance mechanism in the modern society. This is one part of this his idea of panopticism, and the second part is that there are not rigid binaries, that there as if there is a center who wants to do surveillance of all those who are of the rest of the group. It is not that one group of people are monitoring the other group of people, rather each one of us in different place or time is surveilling someone. So we are also surveilling someone, and we are also being surveilled by someone else. So this surveillance is something which Foucault is talking about, and how he talks about, he uses this concept, he used this metaphor of panopticism. Now what is panopticism? Panopticism Foucault has picked up from a 19th century scholar. His name was Jeremy Bentham. He is said to be the father of modern utilitarianism. So Jeremy Bentham designed a prison, and that was a special type of prison in which one or two guards or watchmen or jailer, whatever you may call them, one or two guards could have a surveillance over many hundreds prisoners around them. How could they do that? Consider it as if in a stadium where there are prisons or cells where the seats are, that is, around the circumference there are seats. In the center of that stadium there is a high tower, on the top of which this guard or prison or jailer or watchman can sit, and he has windows through which he can look at every jail, he can look at every cell. So he has the capacity to look at any cell and even find out what is happening inside it. So the jailer can know at what particular time a prisoner gets up, what he does, what he is talking about, everything he can find out through looking by looking through that window. But the inmate or the prisoner, he does not have the capacity to look at the jailer. Why? Because the jailer is hiding behind those windows. He is looking from those windows, and from a distance the inmate cannot find out what is taking place behind that window. So what is the effect? The effect is that every inmate believes that he is being continuously watched, even though the jailer may be looking in some other direction. He may be sleeping, he may be taking some rest, or he may be looking in some other direction, but still every inmate will believe that he might be watched, because there is a good possibility. So do you understand this? That in a ring or in a circular fashion, the prisons or the jails are arranged, and from the center you can watch what is happening inside those cells, inside, and what the inmates are doing inside those cells, but the inmates cannot find out who is there in the center and what he is doing. So what is the impact? The impact, in the words of Foucault, is, what is the effect? Foucault says, the effect is to induce in the inmate a state of conscious and permanent visibility that assures the automatic functioning of power. So to arrange the things, surveillance is permanent in its effects, even if it is discontinuous in its actions. I repeat, surveillance is permanent in its effects, even if it is discontinuous in its actions. So the guard may not be continuously watching, still the effect would be that the surveillance is continuous, that is, the prisoner would believe that he might be watched up. He never knows whether he is actually being watched or not. So he will do things as if he is watched continuously. Something similar is taking place in our today's society also. The country, the state, the government is constantly watching us. We never know. You don't know whether your mobile, the activities which you do on your mobile or on your laptop, or the kind of things which you discussed in public places, whether someone is watching them or not. But you still believe they might be watched. That is why you are careful. You will not do anything wrong. Similarly, on a traffic signal, you will not jump the traffic signal believing that you might be watched. Some CCTV somewhere might be capturing your actions. Whether in truth, in reality, they are not, whether you are watched or not, you never know. But you are still under the impression that you are continuously watched. And this is the kind of surveillance which we have constructed in modern society. This is what Foucault is talking about. So Foucault further says, the perfection of power should tend to render its actual exercise unnecessary. I repeat, the perfection of power should tend to render its actual exercise unnecessary. That is, this architectural apparatus should be a machine for creating and sustaining a power relation independent of the person who exercises it. That is, it doesn't matter who the guard is. It doesn't matter who the watchman is. He may be replaced by some new watchman the next day. Someone else may come and occupy his space, but the surveillance mechanism would stay intact. And he does not, the guard does not need to go and beat the inmates. The execution of power is not really taking place. That is what Foucault says. The perfection of power should tend to render its actual exercise unnecessary. Then he says the inmates should be caught up in a power situation of which they themselves are the bearers. I repeat, the inmates should be caught up in a power situation of which they themselves are the bearers. Now, what he means? The guard is sitting at his own place, and everyone fears his authority. Everyone believes that he is being watched. So, amongst the prisoners will control each other. So, suppose you are a prisoner, you will ensure that your fellow inmate or someone, your neighbor, whether he is your friend or anyone, he does not do something wrong, because if he is caught doing, because he can be caught doing wrong. So you would impose the authority. So you becomes a vehicle to impose the authority. You also become a vehicle to perform surveillance on them, on someone else, just as someone else may be doing a surveillance on you. So the inmates also start doing surveillance on each other. That is what he says, that we become bearers of our own imprisonment. Something similar takes place in our today's society also. We surveil each other in our homes, in our factories, in workplaces, in market space. We think that somebody is watching our actions. That is why we don't do wrong things, and that is why we stop each other from doing something wrong. So if you are a father, you will ensure that your son does not do something illegal, because he might be caught up. Somebody might be performing a surveillance on him, so you will ensure that. In reality, he may not be surveilled, but the effect is that you will think that he is being monitored. So you will ensure that he is doing the things right, that you will monitor him as if someone else is monitoring him. And it's not just about legal or illegal activities. It is not just about paying taxes or not paying taxes. It is way beyond that. For example, you will ensure that someone in your neighborhood or someone you know is not homosexual, or if he is homosexual, he is going for a further treatment. Or the basic thing is, this ideology will flow down from the center to every place, and it's not in a very discrete manner. It's a continuous way. We all participate in it. Now Foucault here brings up a very important concept. He says that the emergence of these modern disciplines and the knowledge system, it has further started classifying people, and it is acting as a vehicle of power. So knowledge is a vehicle of power, and like he gives an example of psychiatry. Now, before emergence of psychiatry, many hundred years ago, a murder was just considered a murder. A rape was just considered a rape. A murderer was just punished for it, irrespective of what his mental makeup is. And it was murder used to take place for it was believed that murderer does a murder for a very obvious reasons, like profit or revenge or greed, things like these. But today, in the modern times, with the emergence of new disciplines of psychology, there have been these ideas of criminal personalities, in which we believe that some people have a tendency to go for a crime. They have a tendency to kill someone. They have a tendency to be violent. They have a tendency to rape someone. So with this emergence of this idea of criminal personality, with the emergence of this concept of criminal personalities, it must be possible for an individual to have a criminal personality without actually having committed a violent crime. So someone may not have committed a crime, but still you will think that he may be a potential murderer. He may be a potential rapist. There must be potential murderers amongst the people we know. We suspect others just as they suspect us. So you suspect your neighbor just as your neighbor suspect you. You suspect the people on the road just as the people suspect you. So everyone suspects everyone else, and thus everyone monitors the activities of everyone else, and thus everyone performs this surveillance on others. And that is why all of us are subject to the gaze of surveillance. We indulge in self-surveillance, and this is what he says when he means we become bearers of our own imprisonment. So Foucault says in the modern society we become imprisonment of our own imprisonment. So this is how we are being controlled, and it's not just one single person who is controlling us. We all are controlling each one of us. Wherever we are capable of controlling someone, we are controlling, and wherever we are being controlled, we are being controlled. So in this way we see that how Foucault says that in the modern society we are becoming bearers of our own imprisonment. And with this I can end here, but still I can also add here that this discussion of panopticism, Michel Foucault started with his discussion of the two diseases of leprosy and plague, which used to take place in 17th century. Leprosy, whoever suffered from leprosy, people were just excluded from having a social intercourse. But if someone suffered from plague, there were very strict countermeasures taken up. He was put under very strict surveillance. He could not go out anywhere. Even his family members could not be. An analogy if I have to construct from today's time, just as AIDS and coronavirus or COVID-19. So if someone is suffering from AIDS or HIV virus, he can go anywhere, he can meet his friends, he can go to hospitals, he can go in restaurants, anywhere he can go, schools, college, nobody minds, nobody is monitoring him. But if someone is suffering from COVID-19, the government will put him under strict surveillance. In fact, they may even quarantine him. They may even prevent his family members from performing his funeral in case he dies. So the strictness of surveillance has increased in modern society. Foucault said that the strictness of surveillance increased in modern society when he discussed that how during the emergence of plague, there were very strong measures taken up to confine people to their homes, and surveillance was really something very important for the state. So this analogy of AIDS and coronavirus I have taken to explain you the difference between leprosy and plague, the extent to which surveillance was necessary for plague and not so necessary for leprosy. So from here Foucault starts discussing about surveillance, and then he comes up with this concept of panopticism, in which he says that how inmates or the prisoners are continuously being watched by the jailer, but the jailer can watch any inmate at any point of time. He can find out which inmate is sleeping, who is standing, who is eating, who is doing some nuisance, who is creating some problem. But the inmates or the prisoners have no idea that whether they are actually being watched. So the net result is this surveillance is performed round the clock, and then the prisoners themselves start participating in this surveillance process. And similarly in the modern society, we are also being continuously under the effect of surveillance. So with this, friends, I end here. I hope this was beneficial, and the end point is that the Foucault says that we in the modern society we become bearers of our own imprisonment. Thank you.